everyone. So we have started our 26th batch, right? So I hope you know about this. So if you don't know, please look into our website, right? Now today's article is basically the India's relationship with Turkey and Azerbaijan. Okay. Now why I chose these two countries, Turkey and Azerbaijan, because both countries supported Pakistan in the recent war. Now, before I take you to the articles, to the graphs, I just want to see you all to see the map, right? Now, here the map, if you see here, it says that Turkey and Azerbaijan, they are located here. Now, one more thing I would like to tell here, that there is a dispute between Armenia and the Azerbaijan, and Turkey always support Azerbaijan, right? So, we don't have to go into this detail, but Armenia is between these two countries, and Turkey and Azerbaijan are close friends, and it helps Azerbaijan to fight against Armenia, and they are fighting for this particular region. This is not our today's topic, but this is the basic you should know, right? This is a map. Now, when you go to the article here, we'll see here what exactly the impact of India's trade relationship between with the Turkey and the Azerbaijan. Okay. Now, when you see here, the chart shows the Turkey arms export to the Pakistan. So, definitely Turkey is a close friend of the Pakistan. Now, you see here, they are majorly consist of the artillery, the aircraft, the armored vehicles, and the sensors and ships, right? Now, this is the very first chart. Yes, we have the trade relation, trade arms relation exports to Pakistan with Turkey and exports, right, from Turkey. Now, second chart, if you see here, the chart shows India's weapons export to Armenia. You saw that Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan. This was the map, right? So here Armenia, they are sending this arms and ammunition, and these are the missiles, Akash, then we have Pinaka, then Akash 1, and then we have Swati, right? So these types of missiles and radars, they are sending to Armenia. To India's relationship, trade relationship in arms, it is with Armenia, but not with Azerbaijan and Turkey. See the map here. इनके साथ और इनके साथ नहीं है. Right? Now, the third, you see here, the country-wise share of India's import of crude oil. Now, this becomes important. So, when we are impacting our trade with Turkey and Azerbaijan, now, these two countries share less than 1% of the India's import of crude oil. So, trade impact with these two countries is not going to impact the crude oil imports of India. Okay, so it's hardly matters if these two countries are not exporting the crude to India. But one fact I would like to bring here, that for Azerbaijan, India is the third largest importer from Azerbaijan. So India के लिए ये Azerbaijan के लिए this is impacting, because India is the third largest country which is importing crude oil from the Azerbaijan. तो अगर इंडिया मना करेगा, if India is not importing any more from the Azerbaijan, so it is going to impact its trade, right? Now the next chart, if you see here, the country-wise share of India's import of nuclear reactors. Now it is again, there is no Azerbaijan here, we have Turkey here, and it is again less than 1%. So again, this is not going to impact India at any cost. So आप देखो कि we are they supported Pakistan. India has announced that they are going to cut the ties with Turkey, and they have already started. So till now, there is no impact, right? But here, the next chart shows about the tourist, right? Now you see here, the chart shows the number of tourists from India and Pakistan to Turkey. अब आप देखो टूरिस्ट इंडिया कितना ज्यादा है टर्की में, है ना? It's like so much, right? So impact कहाँ पे? It's on the Turkey, because lot of revenue coming from the tourists from India. It's going to impact. The same with Azerbaijan, if you see here. Till 2016, it was very low, but suddenly it hyped in 18, and now it reached around 1,20,000. So it's like, it's going to impact the trade of the Azerbaijan and Turkey, not India. As per the data you have seen right now, India is not going to be impacted at all. Okay. Now, एक और interesting fact है, with both countries, India has a trade surplus with both nations. Now, trade surplus means that India is exporting more and importing less from these countries. So, overall trade का तो कुछ problem है ही नहीं इंडिया में. Okay, now what all things the India is exporting and importing, you can read. So this is what about the India's relationship in a trade, with respect to trade with both countries. And you see the map here, map is important here. तो मैप आपको ध्यान में रखना है. एंड ओवरऑल द कंक्लूजन इज दैट इंडिया का रिलेशन नहीं कुछ होने वाला है, ट्रेड इम्पैक्ट नहीं होने वाला है. It's overall going to be more impact you can feel on Azerbaijan and Turkey as per the status. Thank you so much.